for Opening Lines and Opinions show. We do this show every week on Monday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're about 10 minutes late today, but I don't think anyone's going to hold that against us. Joe, how's it going today?
It's really good, thank you. Coming off a great weekend this weekend, watching some college and NFL football. It's Monday night. We've got football on tonight, so definitely a good day.
Everyone knows, I'm not a big fan of Mondays, and people like to hammer me about it in the comments. They usually try and, really jab me extra hard, and it's okay. I can take it at this point. You guys can't faze me. We're all in this together. We're just trying to win some games. But the point of this show, we're not just going to read through the lines and predict line movement like some of the other shows do. We kind of actually look at these games and say, wow, maybe there's some value to bet this thing now. And then if the line does move, and even if it moves in our direction or whatever, well, me, I'll bet that thing right again and again and again. It's happened. But, we've got one game Thursday, 4 on Friday, which is nice. I like the 4-game Friday. Last week we only had 2, but this week we got 4 again. I like that. Saturday, full slate of games. This is usually about the last week of these cupcake type games. We see Alabama going out of conference, playing like Southern Miss and things of that nature. But we'll see teams, pretty much get down to business with conference schedules going forward. But let's just get started. We got the first game is App State and Marshall. This game is Thursday night. The line is at 7.5. App State is favored here. Marshall coming off of that tough one last week. That was just a heartbreaker for them.
Absolutely was. And I'd be looking at taking Marshall in this one, though. We're looking at App State, and I don't think they've been really covering their games. So I'm looking at Marshall to come out and at least get it with the points here. App State is 5-11 in their last 16 games to cover.
Yeah, App State is really a defense-first team, and they have been for quite some time. And, when you're defense first, always tough to cover, bigger point spread. So when you start going outside the touchdown here, this line opened at 7.5, and it's just sticking there at 7.5. I see a 7 at Circa, where Joe and I are looking for a 4-1 week in the contest this week. Need some help tonight, but I don't think we need much help. I think we got this one.
No, we've got this one in the bag tonight. Yeah.
It's a good bounce back week. It always feels good to bounce back from a slow week with a really good one, because now we're right back in contention. 2 more good weeks. It's like we could be on top of the leaderboard. But I'm with you on that one. I think it's tough with App State, even though we know they can move the football, but they are a defense-first team. Go to Friday. Got 4 games on the card, so I already missed my timestamp there. That's what I said I would do it. So Friday, 3:07. All right, so Friday we go to the game between Charlotte and Middle Tennessee, Virginia, Wake Forest, Syracuse over Liberty, and we have Fresno and UNLV. So I should probably be reading the lines as we do this. The Charlotte line has moved from 2 to 2.5 against Middle Tennessee. We saw Charlotte lose last week at Georgia State in what was, I thought, a pretty good game. And, Georgia State, it was one of those weird touchdowns at the end of the game where kind of the whole Charlotte defense opened up and Georgia State just ran it right down the middle for the cover. Of course, I had a premium on Georgia State, so I appreciated that. And then Virginia, a tough loss against North Carolina. Didn't look so hot. Liberty. And, Hugh Freeze has got them on a different level than you would expect them to be. And Syracuse is 2-1 on the season now. They had that one loss to Rutgers, but other than that, they've looked pretty decent. And Fresno, 31-point favorite here after knocking off UCLA on Saturday. 3-1 on the season. That one loss, 7 points at Oregon. No shame in that. We were calling that a look-ahead spot for Oregon, but nothing looking ahead about it now.
No, not at all. And, I'm interested in this game. I think Fresno comes out and covers it, but that 31 points, it wants me to stay away. At this point, I want to stay away. I want to see if this line comes down. Or I've got actually 29 on this, what I'm looking at right now. What do you have? Sorry, Mitch.
I got 31.
31?
Let me check.
Okay.
Let me check
I'm
across
seeing
the
it
board
falling
here.
in a couple of places. This is one that definitely, if you like Fresno, I would wait to see if it comes down a little bit.
I'm showing 31.5 at FanDuel, And then I'm showing 30.5 at Sugar House, which is also known as Rush, and Bet Rivers are all under that Sugar House umbrella. I'm seeing at 888, 30.5. I believe 888 just teamed with Sports Illustrated as part of their U.S. betting efforts.
Yeah.
It's like there's the sports betting Mitch, and then there's the sports betting industry Mitch, and then there's the website Mitch. So it's the many phases of Mitch going on here. But anyways, I'm showing 30. So I'm showing 30.5 to 31.5, depending on where you shop this thing.
Absolutely. So if you like Fresno, I'd wait on that. Syracuse is one that I'm loving as a home dog. This is one I would get on right away. Take them plus the points against this Liberty team that's 3-0. I think they're due for a loss. Liberty's also 24-8 against covering the spread in their last home games. So road games. It's the only thing that scares me in this. They're normally pretty good at it, but I think Syracuse can pull this one out, especially at home.
So Liberty has played a super light schedule so far this year. Campbell, Troy, and Old Dominion are their 3 wins. Meanwhile, Syracuse has played the tougher schedule. They just beat Albany last week, but they opened with that big win against Ohio, which after we saw Ohio after that, maybe not such a big win. And then Rutgers, the 17-7 home loss. But the thing about this one is, right, the weird thing about this one is Liberty is the 7th-ranked defense in the country. I know they've played nobody. And Syracuse is the 4th-ranked defense in the country. So, both these teams have done really well in the turnover department. And that's why they're there in those spots. Boy, that total at 53, I think I like the under in this one.
I definitely like the under, especially with the ranking of those defenses there.
It's moving higher, so it's like we might get some value.
Wow. So do you think we should wait for that?
Well, I'm going to probably bet it here, and then if it moves in my favor, I'll bet it again. I don't like to wait. I like to just bet it twice. Yeah. I'm not much of a waiter. Dark Knight says he knew Oklahoma wouldn't cover last week. Well, I win 100% of the games I get to give my picks out after they're over. But if you saw my YouTube video, I had Nebraska in the points. I got absolutely annihilated in the comments in that one. But I had Nebraska plus the 22.5 there. So
it happens. We can't be right 100% of the time.
Except after the game is over.
Yes, you can totally be right after the game is over.
After the game is over.
Those are the games, though, that I've had a gut feeling on one, haven't pulled the trigger, and I was like, damn, I knew I should have bet it. But I didn't win it because I didn't bet it.
Yeah, so these are 5 weekday games that we have. And, you have to remember with these weekday games, they get a lot more betting action than what they would have gotten on a weekend. And I think it's nice that you kind of have these middle market games, in the middle, during the week like that, because like I said, these are the games that if they're on a Saturday, it's an afterthought. Middle Tennessee versus Charlotte. Who's going to look at that? How about sticking it on a Friday night, giving it a 6:30 p.m. Eastern time start? And, all of a sudden, people care about it, right? So it's a good thing, and that's how a lot of these programs get on the map is by taking these games like this. I think the Virginia Wake Forest is going to be a good game as well. I think that one's going to be more the offensive side, and we're seeing that with the total set at 67.
Wow, that is a high total bet. Definitely could happen between these two teams.
Yeah, we are looking at those MACtion games coming up. That's usually around the end of October. Normally they run those like the last week of October they start, and the first week in November where they have football every single day of the week. But this year there's NBA at that time of year too, so I don't know. Might throw a couple bucks on NBA while I'm out there. Got NBA. Speaking of NBA, we got NBA preseason coming up. So, but thanks. Hi to everyone that's joining us, and be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed, and of course, join us every day at this time. We have a different show on our YouTube channel. Today we're broadcasting on everything, but normally we're just on our Pick Dogs YouTube channel. But today we're on Twitch. We're on Sports Chat YouTube. We're on Facebook. I see people joining us on everything here across the board. See us on the Sports Chat Facebook page. I see people watching on the Pick Dogs Facebook page. See people watching on the Sports Chat YouTube channel, and of course the Pick Dogs YouTube channel where we normally are. every day at 3:30. Well, Monday through Friday at 3:30, we have a different show. These will fluctuate throughout the year. We were talking about this morning, different shows. Joe has some really good ideas for our Thursday or Friday show that she has coming up. And then, so we do this for college on Mondays, NFL, the same show, but NFL on Tuesdays. And then Wednesday is our office pool, NFL office pool show, where you guys can win money for free. Thursday is our Circa and Westgate contest picks, and Friday just an overview of college and NFL football. I think we're going to probably bring some guests in for that show, maybe sort of a warm-up for the new show that Joe wants to do, kind of a maybe.
I like it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's always fun to build something. You know, I'm a builder. You know, we talked about it this morning off camera, and it's like I'm always building. I'm always thinking, like, what am I going to do now? I'm never okay to sit in the status quo. You know, it's like if we have, you know, cool new graphics today, I'm already thinking, well, what kind of cooler and newer graphics can we get going forward? And it's like we kind of have this light blue background. I'm already thinking, like, you know, maybe do like a Pick Dog logo, you know, step and repeat type thing across this and stuff. I already have, it's all, this is the crazy story. It's like the thoughts going through my head. It's also the he's crazy thing. So maybe
no one thinks you're crazy.
A lot of people think I'm crazy. A lot of people.
Well, I don't.
Well, a lot of people do. But anyways, let's get into Saturday's action. And for Saturday, we'll just go through. As far as like through different time slots. And if I go out of it, you just tell me to put the brakes on. Of course, those of you that haven't seen Joe Madden with us, she's been here about 3 weeks with us so far, and she brings the heat. We're super excited to have her as part of Pick Dog. So, you know, she's like I said, just brings a whole new element to it, to everything that we've been doing all these
Very
years.
happy to be here.
But anyways, Joe, are you happy about Virginia Tech and Richmond? Normally, I don't mention these FBS, FCS games, but this one to me is a special one. Then we've got Northwestern against Ohio coming off of that Duke game. Then we got Central Michigan, FIU, Wisconsin, Notre Dame. Now, this game was supposed to be last year and this year. So far, it's just this year. I'm not sure if they rescheduled last year's game or not. We'll talk about it in just a second. We've got, let's see, Mississippi State, LSU. This is always a good one. Missouri, Boston College, kind of an odd game in that one. And then Texas Tech, monster game. TCU, SMU. Boise State, Utah State, 12 p.m. Eastern time start for a West Coast game. That means they're at the game at 9 o'clock in the morning. That means the tailgate starts like at 5 a.m.
It's going to be a long day for some people, that's for sure.
I guess the Utah tailgates probably are not the rowdiest in
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Good point there, Mitch.
Vandy versus Georgia. Of course, Vandy, just the gift that keeps on giving. And Minnesota, Bowling Green. Minnesota looked pretty good against Colorado last week. Coastal Carolina, UMass. And we'll stop there, about 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah, so let's first talk about this Notre Dame Wisconsin game. I'm excited for this one. I am seeing it's their first matchup since 1964. We've got two great defenses going at it. We've got a total of 46.5. I love the under in this one. I think these defenses are going to control this game, and it's going to be really hard to score in this one.
You know, I think that this is going to be a good game too. And this was the one that I was saying is last year it was supposed to be at Lambeau Field. In Green Bay, and this year it's at Soldier Field in Chicago, which is really a home game for Notre Dame. But Wisconsin has played a bunch of games at Soldier Field over the years as well. But I love Soldier Field, and it's one of the things I miss about living in Chicago is going to see games at Soldier. It's a great place to see a football game. It's so cool. It's frickin' Soldier Field, right? It's like, you know, it's just, you know, you see those old pillars. They've redone the inside, but still they had to leave the outside exactly as it was because it's a historical landmark. So they were unable to touch everything, which meant it took forever for them to redo the place, which is spectacular. But I think this is going to be a pretty good game. I could see this game going either way. Wisconsin, obviously the more physical team, and Notre Dame, we've seen them struggle at times. I think it's going to be super tight. Wisconsin 5.5-point favorites in this one, 46.5. Yeah, I think that Notre Dame, what we've seen from them is they try and go over the top with those really tall wide receivers, and that's where they've had a lot of success so far. We saw them do it against Florida State. But Wisconsin, generally more of a power game with Paul Chris, trying to run it between the tackles. I could see an under here as well. Right now, maybe I don't know. I think this game is a coin toss for me, and probably is looking like a no play. But betting against Notre Dame is not something I haven't done in the past, so I could probably be convinced.
That you actually love to do. I like it. Yeah, I'm not taking a side on this one at this point, but I do like the under in that. Vanderbilt, like you were saying, Vandy against Georgia. Vandy's been covering these spreads. This is a huge spread on this one, too. I definitely like jumping on them to be able to cover in this one.
Yeah, I like Georgia in this one for sure. It's like Vandy's just so bad. Just terrible for years. And we saw Emmitt Smith's son tear him up on Saturday night for Stanford. I think that I could see Georgia. I could see them getting 2-3 backs over 100 yards in this one. I don't know. Vandy's just, one of those schools, great academically, so they're going to struggle on the football field generally. It's rare you see like a team that's really good in academics and really good at football. It's, Stanford every once in a while. That's maybe in Northwestern, right? Maybe once in a while. Carvis,
what are you thinking of the...
Go ahead.
Pardon?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what are you thinking on the total of this one? I'm seeing 51.5. If you think Georgia, do you think Vandy's going to be able to put up any points with them?
No, I don't think Georgia. I like the team total for Vandy under. I'm going to guess it's going to be 5.
Okay, there we go. LSU. I'm liking LSU this week. I think LSU on the road against Mississippi State will have good success. Mississippi State's 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 on a Saturday. The under has also been cashing a lot for these two teams.
We've seen this one move down. Mississippi State was getting 3.5. Now they're at 2.5. Early movement through a key number there. So this one in Stark Vegas, those cowbells will be ringing at this one. I don't know how many of you have been to Starksville, Mississippi to watch a football game, but not a bad place to see a game. They ring those cowbells like it's no one's business. I don't even think they allow noisemakers like that in any other stadium anymore. It's like illegal, and these guys are like grandfathered in that they're allowed to bring their cowbells. But I don't know, LSU. They've been less than convincing. We saw them last week kind of turn it up a notch. I think this is going to be a competitive, low-scoring game. I like the under as well.
For sure. Yeah, definitely an under-looking game. Do we have Texas Tech and the Texas Longhorns in this time period?
Yes, we do. Texas Tech, Texas minus 8.5 down from 10.5 at 61.5 is the total.
Okay, I've got to go with the Longhorns to cover in this one. Texas is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. I'm also looking for an over game. I think these two teams can put up enough points to get over that 61.5. I'm looking at this being a competitive, 31 to 42 game.
Yeah, this is a big game for Texas because for them to get a second loss at this point of the season would be absolutely devastating, especially since they went out and got a lousy head coach. Some head coaching, some hires you see out there and you're just like, yeah, man, this guy deserved to step it up, or man, I could see how they did this, or, I understand why they paid this guy all this money and all that stuff. Steve Sarkisian? What are you thinking? I mean, he's had no success as a head coach. He was a good offensive coordinator under Nick Saban, which I could do. I'll be honest with you. I always say, well, there's a reason I'm not a GM, and there's a reason I'm not a head coach of a team, and there's a reason I'm not, an NFL referee or a lot of other things, right? A doctor, lawyer, mathematician, English teacher.
Wizard.
Pretty is another one. There's a lot. There's a long list of things that I'm not, but I don't understand how you go out and you hire Steve Sarkisian and expect to win at a program like Texas. It didn't make any sense to me, and I think against Arkansas, it didn't make sense to a lot of people. I think the surprising thing here is that it's the Texas Tech defense allowing just 290 yards a game, ranked 29th in the country, and the offense ranked 34th in the nation. I understand Texas had a little bit tougher schedule because they played Arkansas, but they made it a tougher schedule by losing that game. They win that game like the way other teams have beaten up on Arkansas in recent years. Well, people aren't saying what a tough schedule it is, and I think at the same time, Texas Tech, they were a 3-point dog in that game against Houston, and they beat them outright. I like Texas Tech here.
Okay, we'll battle that one out. I might change my mind by the end of the week to you guys. We're just talking the early lines right here.
I'll just continue to not give it a rest. I'm pretty good at that.
You're gonna hammer it hard, okay?
Well, I don't think.
What about this?
I don't think I'll get that many opportunities.
Game.
We probably won't be talking college football again on this till Friday. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely. What do you think this Penn State game? Do you think Penn State, off that emotional win, can cover the spread against Villanova this week?
Well, I don't see a number on it yet, so it's like I'm not sure what it is, but I'd imagine that
I am seeing 29.5.
Yeah, I think they cover. Villanova is a good FCS team, so there's two good FCS teams in action here, and Villanova is one of them, and the other one is Richmond against Virginia Tech, and so these games kind of go together. So Richmond and Villanova are FCS teams, but they're the cream of the crop of the FCS. Yeah. And here they are. They're taking on pretty decent teams. This is a spot where Virginia Tech normally falls on their face. I could see Penn State having more trouble than people think against Villanova. I could see it happening. I think Penn State wins comfortably. I could see Villanova showing up.
Yeah, I could see them covering too, especially Penn off that whiteout game. So I think Penn State comes into this one a little bit too comfortable. They're 3-0 in the season right now. I think they come in comfortable.
I'm keeping, for those of you that are watching and those that are going to watch the video later on, I'm keeping notes of the, the timestamps. This way you guys will have timestamps on all our videos, something that we are going, like I said, we're always improving things, and it's way long overdue to put timestamps in the videos, so we're going to do it, and that's why you see me writing and scrambling, because I'm not used to doing it, but I will. So anything else in this time slot here that you like?
No, not really. I think we went over everything that I'm looking at right now.
How about Coastal Carolina and UMass? I mean, this is your team. Coastal, they did not cover for you this week against Buffalo, but here they are against a UMass team that's 0-3 coming in, but 2-1 against the number. And Coastal goes back home to Myrtle Beach for this one. Opened at 35.5, now up to 36. So we're north of the 5 touchdown mark. So, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm going Coastal all the way. I think they have a good bounce back game to cover in this one. I think they come out strong. What is the total in this one? I'd be really interested in against this UMass team.
66, down from 67.
I'd go over. I think we're going to see a high scoring battle in this one. So offensive battle.
I like the over 67 as well in the Coastal UMass game. I'm a little skittish on the spread because I think we're up there in the points, for this one. I could see it being 42-0 and it coming down to that dicey thing, and either Coastal will get the turnover, which is what they do, or, well, UMass just starts celebrating their lone score on the teal turf, acting like they have won something, which they did if they bet on themselves.
Yeah, but we look at UMass, and the scary thing is they are 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. So they have been covering those, but I think Coastal, they're due for a nice big win in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Bittler special all the way. UMass is just bad enough that Brian would bet on them. And he's maybe
that is true.
Maybe he'll hit the book on the way home from the store buying that jar of mint jelly. He's gonna.
He's definitely gonna put mint jelly on his lamb chop on Wednesday night.
I like the does put mint jelly on the prop bet on that one. As opposed, they're gonna ask him, would you like mint jelly with that? I'm gonna say
I absolutely do too. It's gonna happen.
I like the yes on the mint jelly. So it's a yes on Bittler for the mint jelly on the lamb chop on Wednesday. He's already planned what he's gonna eat on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm having tonight. I lost Joe's little icon there.
Yeah, I have no clue what I'm having either. I like how he meal plans out his week.
What's his birthday? It's his birthday dinner. There we go. I lost.
It's his birthday Wednesday?
At least that's what he said. It's his birthday dinner. So I'm gonna guess it's his birthday.
Oh, I missed. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't keep. I'm not a good birthday tracker. I know my wife's because she starts telling me about 3 months in advance.
Like all us women do. We have to make sure you remember.
What happens in 67 days?
You're like,
My wife was.
You told me this yesterday.
My wife was a school teacher, and then she was a high school guidance counselor, and she was the one that everyone would come to and say, "How many more days left do we have till summer, till the school year?"
Oh, and she knew.
She had it. She would count them down. But let's move on to the next segment of games. Then we've got Eastern Michigan, Texas State, Western Michigan against San Jose State. We got a possible Michigan directional parlay going on here, either for or against. And then Michigan, Rutgers. So you got 3 Michigans all in one segment there. And then Utah, Washington State, a Pac-12 battle. We've got Arkansas, Texas A&M. This is a rivalry of all rivalry games. Even when Arkansas has been terrible, they've shown up for this one. Iowa versus Colorado State. We've got Maryland against Kent State. UConn versus Wyoming. Purdue versus Illinois. North Carolina State, Clemson. Florida State, Louisville. Memphis, UTSA. Baylor, Iowa State. Let's just stop there because that's a ton of games.
Yeah, there's so many games in this time slot. Washington State and Utah is one that I'm definitely looking at. I think Utah's due for another win. They're 1-2 on the season right now. So is Washington State, but I'm liking more what I'm seeing out of Utah. It's a 13.5 point spread is what I'm seeing on my book here, and I'm liking them to be able to cover this spread in this. I think Utah hasn't done as well against the spread. They're 3-7 in their last 10, but I think this is the one that they come out and they beat this Washington State. Washington State's also 0-6 against the spread in their last 6.
So this line has gone from 14 to 14.5, and Nick Rolovich at Washington State, really one of the worst cover coaches out in college football. He was a terrible cover coach at Hawaii, and he's a terrible cover coach at Washington State too. It's almost like he doesn't. Bittler asking for extra mint jelly. It could happen. It could happen. It'll amazingly show up. Like he'll be taking pictures of it, to show on the thing. We'll have to get the mint jelly emoji going for Wednesday.
Nice big dollop of it.
Maybe I can make a mint animated mint jelly and have it like spin across the screen or something.
That would be awesome.
I'm gonna have that for tomorrow morning. But I like Utah. I think Utah, they haven't played all that well this season, but we saw Washington State have the lead against USC this past weekend and then just get absolutely trounced in that game. Washington State was up early, and then it was all USC, and I could see. So this is a team that people are taking out their frustration on, and I could see, after USC had lost to Stanford the previous week, it seemed to be another bounce back spot. So I'm with you on Utah.
That's good. I like when we both agree. What about this Illinois-Purdue game? I'm liking Purdue to come out here as well. When we look at them, I think they just will be too much for Illinois. I think Illinois is just having too many issues right now with consistency.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. I like Purdue against Illinois. I think that Illinois, like you said, just battling the consistency issues, and Jeff Brom's team looking to bounce back from that loss at South Bend. I think they were a better team. I think they were the better team in that game, and just ended up on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Colorado State, Iowa. This is one I'm excited for. Iowa is 3-0 on the season so far. I think they're just playing so well. They're 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. I think they come out and cover this 22, 23 points easily against a Colorado State team that is 1-2 on the season so far.
Yeah, I think Colorado State is just so bad this year. And Iowa, once again, this is probably homecoming. We're in that area of the year. We're in that time of year. I'm going to guess this is the homecoming game for Iowa. And, well, we know what happens on homecoming. They take out their ass-kicking shoes, and I think we might be seeing one in this one. Yeah, that Iowa defense is just really, really tough. And, heading into, a little bit of a softer spot in their schedule than where they opened. This is probably where they start to flex their muscles. I think they will put in the backups, and I think the backups are not going to get to see a lot of action this season. So sometimes if you have a team that's deep and has good backups and they get into the game, it's actually not that big of a deal because those guys, they're not going to get a chance to see the field. So they're going to make the most of it while they're out there. And they're certainly talented enough to play and be recruited at a school like Iowa, which means there's no slouches on that team.
Oh, none at all. What about this Louisville, Florida State game? Florida State is 0-3 on the season. They are a home dog. I don't think they can even pull it off at home against this Louisville team that's 2-1. They've just been more consistent. They've been doing well this year. They're 4-2 straight up in their last 6 games.
I'm not big on Louisville. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I just really hate this game, and I think that both these defenses leave a lot to be desired in my book. And Florida State, while they haven't looked good recently, and I liked Wake Forest against Florida State. I was one of the few people on the Wake side of things. Yeah. I think that Florida State can put some points here, and we're already seeing the total move up from 61 to 62.5, and that's for good reason. That tackling is optional in this one. So I think it could be a last team with the ball type game. I think if it was at Louisville, I'd probably feel a little bit more confident in Louisville, but going on the road here to Tallahassee, I'm going to take the Noles to win at home. Outright.
Okay. Give them their first win on the year. That would be definitely good for their fans.
Outright.
Not even laying any points. Outright win.
Yeah. The other game. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, which other games are you liking in this time slot?
Oh, there's a bunch. I think that for me, it begins and ends in this time slot with this UConn hosting Wyoming game. This could be 175-0. I mean, it has that kind of potential written on it. Wyoming 3-0 on the season. UConn 0-2 on the season, or 0-4 on the season. 1-3 against the number. They stink like no one's business. And this Wyoming team, an under the radar type thing, and look for Wyoming to just really open up. What do they call it? Open the can of whoop ass on UConn here.
Absolutely. So you're telling me not to take UConn on the money line on this one, I'm hearing.
I don't think this is a spot that that we're looking to do that.
We are absolutely not. I'm looking at a high scoring game in this one. I'm looking at the over. And actually, I'd be looking at team total over for Wyoming as well.
I'm enjoying writing down these timestamps. It's a little bit of work, but I'm excited because I know I'm going to be able to put them in the video, and I know people are going to appreciate that. But I'm going to go also another game in this slot that I like is Rutgers against Michigan. We've seen Michigan stand up to the test in most of these, in all of these contests that we've seen them so far. But I still think, Rutgers, not a bad team. And I think with Greg Schiano, they're, coaching Rutgers, I really like their chances in this spot. I think this is where you go money line, is Rutgers on the money line right here against Michigan, getting 18.5 points. I think that they have a chance to win it outright. And we've seen Schiano have success against Michigan. He was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State before taking this job at Rutgers, so he certainly played against Michigan, beat Michigan, and I don't see how, and Jim Harbaugh in general. So I just don't see how, I don't know, maybe Michigan has the better athletes, but Rutgers, not bad. And Greg Schiano, he's had bigger wins than this before. So I like Rutgers in that spot. I like
Rutgers to keep it tight, so I'd take Rutgers plus the points.
The total in this one, the totals dropped from 53 down to 51.5. So definitely that is saying that, because Schiano is the defensive coach, Harbaugh is an offensive coach. That's saying that Rutgers, people feeling that Rutgers is going to dictate the tempo of this game.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm excited to see Arkansas and Texas A&M as a fan of the game. It's something that I've enjoyed, most of my life, is watching these two teams tangle it up. And I think that this one will be no different. They usually play at Jerry World, and the place is usually packed, and it's nice to see them going at it again. Arkansas 3-0 this year, so relevant again. First time in a while that they've been relevant. And this is their big test. This is the big one for them. So if they can get past this one, well, then you could see the pot of gold coming at the end of the rainbow. I don't know if I'm ready to jump on board though, because we know Texas A&M is pretty loaded too.
Mm-hmm. What do you think in this total though? The total's pretty low at 47.5. Do you think these two teams can get it over with such a close spread between the two?
We've seen like shootouts between these teams traditionally in this game. I like the over. I'm with you on that.
So do I. And that's one that I think will start to move.
The way you asked the question in the way, like, don't you agree with me that it's going over?
Right? I can't hide what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is pretty
Joe's
clear.
The worst poker player.
Oh yeah, I don't play poker. That's why I play blackjack.
Thursday, she's going to come on the show in the morning and say, I don't even like mint jelly. I was just saying that just to see if you'd eat it.
Absolutely not. I will not do that. I really like the over. Oh, come on. I don't do that.
I do.
Actually, I probably would. But I won't.
Got Auburn taking on Georgia State at 4:00. Duke against Kansas at 4:00. Then Tulsa, Arkansas State. Arkansas State, terrible last week against Washington. Then UCLA and Stanford going at it. Georgia Southern up against Lafayette, or Louisiana. I always still call them Lafayette. Buffalo and Old Dominion. Head into the 7:00 games, which there's quite a few, but we'll go through them. Michigan State, Nebraska. Florida, Tennessee. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. La Tech, North Texas. Houston, Navy. South Carolina, Kentucky. And that's it for 7:00 all the way through.
Yeah, tons of games in this section. I'm looking at this Auburn team after that loss to Penn State. I think this is going to be one that they're wanting to come out, especially at home, and win this. They are 2-1 on the season right now. But I'm looking at this spread against Georgia State, and I think it's too much. We're seeing 26.5 on my book. Not sure what you're seeing, Mitch, but I know it opened on my book at 27. I think Georgia State will be able to cover with the points in this one. I'm not liking Auburn to take it all the way.
I think Bo Nix makes just a little bit too many mistakes for my taste, and I think 27 is. I've seen 27, and I just think that it's too many points for me to not take. Right? If I'm on Auburn, it's too many points. If I'm on Georgia State, it's just enough. So I'm going to take Georgia State in this one.
Phew, I'm glad we agree on that one. Yeah, there's so many. What other ones are you looking at, Mitch? Are we getting down to Tennessee, Florida time or no?
Yeah, Tennessee, Florida was one of the ones in this slot. Florida 20-point favorites over Tennessee coming off of that Bama loss.
And I like this one for Florida to take it all the way to cover these points. I think Florida is a stronger team than what we're seeing. They haven't been covering as of late, 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. But I think this is a game at home that they come and school Tennessee in this one.
this is one of those rivalries that has been really one-sided games. And, while the Vols are somewhat improved, they're not good enough. I don't like the way Florida has looked this year. I know that they lost Alabama by only 2 points, and, people are looking and say, oh, they only lost by 2 points. But I know for a fact they would have sold their soul to the devil for a win against Alabama. And it's not like Florida doesn't have athletes. They certainly have every bit as good athletes as Alabama, and they expect to win that game, not to cover. I don't know. It is a little bit of kind of a deflation spot for them, but I just don't think Tennessee's got the guns. We haven't seen it from Tennessee that they can compete in this level of a game yet, and until we see that, I can't buy into Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does put me a little bit uneasy now that you mentioned with Florida giving it all they had against Bama. This could be one of those situations where they're kind of beat up coming into this game. So that has scared me a little.
I think we do need a Joe D'Amico emoji, and I think it would be a good one would be just the Las Vegas sign behind him.
I like it.
Yeah, right? We could do that.
Yeah. What other ones in this time slot are you liking?
I like Kansas State a lot against Oklahoma State. This is probably one of my favorite games of the day. So those of you that took the time to watch this video, you're probably going to get one of my premium plays right here in K-State versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State coming back home after the road win against Boise. But they haven't been beating teams up. They're unbeaten. They're 3-0 on the season, but 1-2 against the number. Their games have been super tight. Meanwhile, Kansas State, Kleiman, one of the best cover coaches out there, and in conference games, really, he takes it to a whole nother level as far as covering spreads. I like Kansas State. This line already has come down from 7.5 to 6.
Wow!
And just that's how much, and that's with just 36% of the bets coming in on Kansas State. So that's telling you, well, someone with a lot of money likes Kansas State a lot.
Absolutely. You've got me convinced, Mitch. I like Kansas State in this situation as well. Oklahoma State will get their first loss on the season.
Nebraska played Oklahoma extremely tough last week, and now they go to East Lansing to take on Michigan State, and here they are getting 5 points on the road. It opened at 4. Michigan State, obviously, that big time public win against Miami on the road. This is not a good Miami team. I said it on Saturday. I'll say it again. This is not a good Miami team, and we saw the mistakes compound there. But Michigan State is shown to be a really physical team, and I think that if they can get to the lead against Nebraska, this one could get ugly because I don't know if Nebraska can throw to come back in this thing.
What do you think of this under 52 then?
I think that to me makes a lot of sense, because I think Nebraska is going to try and keep it away from that physical Michigan State running game. I could buy into that one. This one has come up. It opened at 50.5 on the total, going higher. So we might be able to bet this one a few times, which I always like. There are certain people that say, "Oh no, the line is moving up" or whatever. It's like, to me, it's always like, if I have a play that I've handicapped that number in, and obviously it's early in the week, so we haven't really gone under the hood on any of these games. And by Friday's show, we will have gone under the hood. So that's the way it generally works. Monday, college football opening lines. Tuesday, NFL opening lines and opinions. Wednesday, office pool show. You guys can win some cash. Thursday, Circa and Westgate contest. We could win some cash. And then Friday is our
a jacket.
or both. I tell you what, we have enough cash. We could buy a bunch of jackets.
Okay, that's a good plan.
It's like, I remember when I lived in Chicago, they had one of the big department stores was closing down. I think it wasn't Bloomingdale's, but it was something like that. They were closing down right on Michigan Avenue. I went in there, they were having a big sale, and the place was mobbed. And it's like, I went in there, and they had this beautiful jacket. And it was cashmere, like a sport coat. I'm like,
ooh,
oh,
fancy.
This is nice. And I put it on. It's like size 52. I'm like, There's not enough
Oh,
burritos in the
man.
world to get me into this thing. It's like, I'm like, because I always think that it's like if it's a couple sizes too big, I'm like, I could probably eat my way into this thing, you know. But it was like, you know, a nice big pair of pants or something. But it was like, nah.
No, it's not working. Not working at all.
It's like I see like a nice 34, 35, you know, waist pair of pants. I'm like, yeah, I could, if I really apply myself, I could probably get there. But it's like,
oh, that's funny.
Like,
more cookie dough ice cream.
Well, it's like, you know, we're talking a solid 5 inches of pant, you know, that I would need to eat my way into. So that's not easy to do. But, you know, just tell me I can't do it. Just tell me I can't do it. And it could happen.
Yes. We're not going to do that, Mitch.
It's a lot of pant for me to go. I know, you know, some people, it's like, it's no problem. Some people are like, oh, man, I wish I was there. I would have grabbed it. Oh, boy. Move into the next time slot. I think that South Carolina-Kentucky game is a good place to stay away from.
Yes.
I think that's just bad news. If anything, I would go Kentucky. I think I'll lean there. But the line's moving up to 5.5 from 4.5 in that one.
Wow.
Let me write that in my timestamp stuff that we mentioned it. 45. South Carolina. Those of you that are watching us late or just happen to pop in now and you missed the beginning, we are doing timestamps on our live videos now. It's something we just started. Today's the day, you know. Eventually you have to just pick and say, you know what, today's the day you draw the line in the sand. Yeah. So we're going to have detailed timestamps on this one. And, well, should be a good one. But let's see, anything else in this time slot? I think we pretty much covered it. UCLA, Stanford, I think Stanford getting 5.5 here. I really like the Stanford QB and tight end and all that stuff. I could see Stanford winning that one on the money line outright.
Yeah, that's definitely a good place to put a couple bucks. I think they could do it too.
They looked good against Vandy, but so has everybody. Yeah. And they looked really good against USC. Good enough to get the coach fired. So, Stanford, UCLA. I don't understand why the line is up so much, though. I'll have to take a deep dive into that one. Yeah. UCLA ranked 24th in the nation after losing outright as an 11-point favorite to Fresno last week. We move into 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Oklahoma versus West Virginia. Monster matchup there. North Carolina at Georgia Tech. Atlanta, tough building. Georgia Tech had a shot against Clemson at the very last play of the game. I mean, had a shot at them. Mm-hmm. Ohio State versus Akron. How bad has the Buckeye defense gone? We're going to find out now because it's Akron Zips. 49 points the Buckeyes are laying in that one. 7 touchdowns. We got Alabama against Southern Miss. Alabama 45-point favorites against Southern Miss in that one. Tulane UAB, Air Force against FAU. We got Western Kentucky, Indiana, Hawaii, New Mexico State, UTEP, New Mexico, Louisiana Monroe, who last year just bruised me. I mean, they just were just so bad. Is nothing pretty about it. That's why I don't have the Maseratis, because of those guys. BYU against South Florida. Washington versus Cal. Washington is finally back onto the win column after beating Arkansas State. Oregon back on the field after now taking on Arizona at home. 28.5 points. That is a lot of points for a conference game. Arizona 0-3, back up to their old tricks. I don't know. A lot of people had them against BYU. USC against Oregon State. USC bouncing back from the Stanford loss and the firing of the coach. And then the nightcap, Arizona State, 14.5-point favorites over Colorado.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about these Buckeyes for a second. What the heck is going on with their defense? I don't know what they're doing right now. They look just shambles again, not covering the spread again in a game that I really thought they were going to cover this weekend. 49 points, 48 points. I'm even seeing it 49.5. I'm not liking them to cover in this one. This is one I'm going to watch for the line movement and also looking at fading where the public is going to be throwing their money on it, because It's way too many points for me to do anything with this one right now. If anything, I'd be looking at an Ohio State team total because I know their offenses can put up the numbers, but I don't know if they'll cover this one.
I like Akron plus the points here. I know Akron is absolutely hideous, but really when you're getting 49 points, if you score 10, you should be okay. And I think this Ohio State defense has shown us that they can give up 10 points.
Oh, yeah.
It could happen. Kerry Coombs is having a tough job there at Ohio State. Back when I lived in Cincinnati back in the day, he was the head coach of Coleraine High School, who was just a perennial powerhouse there. He worked his way up through the ranks, University of Cincinnati assistant coach, all the way through linebackers coach and all that stuff at Ohio State. Now the defensive coordinator, but boy, he is under fire taking the heat, both in that Tulsa game and in, of course, that debacle against Oregon where they just had no answers whatsoever against the Ducks. And I think that will likely be the game, that knocks them out of the playoffs with only a 14 playoff. They're probably, they were probably one of the teams that didn't want the expanded playoff. Now they're probably saying it should start this year. So I like Akron though.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it at this kind of spread right now. I give it to you with Akron. It's Ohio State has not looked like Ohio State. It's been very disappointing. This West Virginia Oklahoma game, I am ecstatic for. I think we're just going to have two powerhouse teams going at it in this. I do like Oklahoma to come out as the winner in this, cover that 16.5 actually on my book now spread. I think they do it easily. Oklahoma is 8-3 against the spread in their last 11. I'm also looking for a higher scoring game in this one because I think West Virginia can put up the points as well.
Joe, I can't agree with you on this one. I'm gonna have to take the other side.
Okay.
Yep. The honeymoon is over for Joe Madden and I. We're at each other's throats today. We have agreed on nothing. No, we've agreed on a few games, and of course, it's all in good spirits, but just, this is why you have other people on the show, and to actually have someone here that really knows their college football and football and betting, man, it's a treat for me, but I think in this one, I think West Virginia money line is the play for me. I think they have a shot to knock the Sooners off. I know at night in Norman, Oklahoma, not an easy spot, but I'm going to take West Virginia. I'm going to parlay them up with Rutgers on the money line, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy that freaking Maserati, and my wife's at the grocery store or something. She's going to come home and it's going to be, whose car is that? I don't know. It just here. She's like,
it
that's
magically
weird.
Appeared.
She's like, I've never seen one with surf racks before.
Well, you might be able to put a nice enough surf rack on it. Maybe an upgraded one.
I don't think so. I think just the standard, old school. Like my surf racks always have like wax all over them from the board. I'm a big, I use like a tropical Hawaiian blend, on my boards. I just like it a little tackier. So I'm a walker,
I like it.
I walk around on the board when I'm out on the waves. I'm not like one of these.
Do you bring Sam with you?
Sometimes I do. I have a board for him, 218 liters, Jimmy Lewis. That it's a stand up that Sam goes on, and I think he surfs better than most tourists. To be honest with you, I think.
Okay, well that's good to know. Yeah. What do you think though of the over in this game? Can you agree with me on the over? When these two teams have matched up the last 6 games has hit this over? I
think it could be, and I think that this game actually could be very similar to the Baylor-Oklahoma games that we've seen in recent years, where West Virginia gets out to a nice lead on Oklahoma. Oklahoma comes barreling back, and it's just a matter of if they get there or not. Like, I don't see West Virginia going to Norman and blowing Oklahoma out of the building. I just see them going in there and beating them, and somehow Oklahoma will still be in the playoff, right? It's like they pass the eye test, but nobody else does. Yeah, the eye test always includes like losing at home as a gigantic favorite.
Okay, I'll give you that. Which other ones are you liking, Mitch?
Well, I like anything that's college football, of course, but
You're like in all of them.
The cop out. That's like people in Chicago. They would ask him, it's like, what are you, a Cubs fan or White Sox fan? I'm a Chicago fan. Whatever. The Georgia Tech North Carolina game is saying neutral site, so I'm not sure where that one is being played. So that I need to look at real fast. It is. I'm sure someone has it there. Oklahoma does love shootouts, but they don't always end up on the right side of those shootouts. They traditionally they do, but I don't think Spencer Rattler is that good of a quarterback. I think this guy could be the most overrated of all quarterbacks in the country. I have not seen it from him, where he deserves to be on that pedestal. But that's right, Traffic. You tell him. We're not falling for it. We're not falling for it.
He's agreeing with you, Mitch, all the way.
Of course he is. Wagging his tail. Maybe. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but he's doing it. This one's at...
Better not be. Traffic.
This one's in Atlanta.
Okay.
So at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I like Georgia Tech here, I think, in the points. They've played really tough against Clemson, and I don't think they're going to see anything from North Carolina that they haven't seen. So I'm going to go with Georgia Tech plus the points.
I like that, especially with North Carolina coming off that victory over it was Virginia, right?
Yeah, they pulled out in the end. It was a high-scoring game. While Georgia Tech came out of a really low-scoring game against Clemson. They're getting 12 points. Maybe they're setting us up. Probably not rushing to the window for this thing. I also like Southern Miss plus the points against Alabama. These are not the games. These are not the games where Nick Saban usually runs it up or has the big number. We saw it last week, and we'll see it again this week. Normally, if he's going to run it up against someone, it's Kentucky. Or someone like that, Mississippi State or Ole Miss, or those are the run up the score games for Bama, not Southern Miss. So I'm gonna take Southern Miss plus the points. I don't think it's like they'll put a scare into Bama. I don't think any of those things. No. I think it's like they're down by 21 before the game even starts. But I think at the same time I'm going to go with Southern Miss plus the points there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think this is just way too many points for this game when Bama's not going to come out caring how much they win by.
Those of you who just are tuning in and you're going to watch the replay, we'll have all of the timestamps in there for you guys in the chapters on the YouTube video. Learned out how to do all this stuff this morning with Rod and Joe. Taught me how to do it. So I'm going to be doing it, and Joe's going to do it. Someone's going to do it, but I have them all here, so I guess I'll do it. But also, we're here every day at 3:30 p.m. We have a different show every weekday at 3:30. Of course, Joe and I also do the morning shows here on YouTube on our Pick Dogs channel with Brian and Rod, and then Saturdays and Sundays, kind of our new Capper Roundtable. What do you call it, a round table? Or because we're not all sitting at the same table, so it's not really a round table. What do you call it?
Virtual round table?
I don't know what you call it.
VRT, virtual round table.
Virtual round table.
Join us at the VRT.
It's I think it's, I don't know what you would call it. I think we just host the Saturday and Sunday show and have a ton of guests. We'll just call it that.
That's much easier than thinking of
so
something.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel and be sure to always smash that like button. anything else here left? We covered a good amount of games here. We have a few late night. BYU against South Florida. BYU's starting to feel it here, and I could see them flexing their muscle against this South Florida team. 23 points in the BYU South Florida. It's a long trip for Florida all the way out to, the West Coast, and now they take, well, not really West Coast, the mountains, right? But I could see BYU just continuing to roll. We did not see a letdown from BYU last season, and I don't see any reason why we would see one here. They're just a really good team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd take BYU right away.
The line's dropping here from 23.5 down to 23, but I don't see it. I don't see how South Florida can possibly hang with them. We saw them put some points on the board against Florida, but to me that was just more of a lack of really telegraphing the passes by the Florida quarterback that put USF back in that game.
Yeah, I'm looking for Washington to come out with a big win over California. I'm actually surprised this line's hovering around 8 there. I think Washington come out and win this one by double digits, 16, 18 points in this one. So that's what I'm going to jump on right away. I'm actually shocked by that number.
I'm going to take the under in that one. The total in this one is rising, but I still like the under at 46.
Under 46. I like that too.
So, a lot of Pac-12 late games. We have Oregon, Arizona. I don't know, the 28.5. I could see it. I could see it in the first half, but I could also see it not. It just seems like a lot of points. Like they just don't want you to bet it. So maybe Oregon is the play there. You buy the hook down to 28 because it has moved up. And USC down to 12 from 13 against Oregon State. I don't know. And Colorado and Arizona State. Could probably leave this one alone until Friday as well, unless you've got an opinion.
Yeah, I'd be going with Oregon over Arizona. I think Oregon's going to come out. I'm looking at an under game for that one. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring one. Colorado, Arizona State. I think Arizona State could cover it. Again, not rushing to the window with this one. I'd be looking more at the under in this one. We've got a total of 44.5 on my book. I think it goes under. I think both these defenses battle this one out, and Arizona comes out on top of it.
Yeah, I just don't love the 14.5 points there. To me, it just seems to be like a little to the high side.
It is.
Colorado looked flat last week against Minnesota, but Arizona State was no match, as a road favorite at BYU. Just the Pac-12 just continues to be the Pac-12.
Absolutely. We've got people asking questions what time we're doing the VIP show. That will be at 5:30 Eastern today, correct, Mitch?
Yeah, always 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, thereabouts. It's not the VIP is not at an exact time, but we've been starting around 5:30, and then we get it. It's usually a pass off right into the drive-through from there. So. The idea of the VIP is that you guys get the latest lines, the latest action, and all of that that's going on. But, Joe, anything else to wrap up today's show?
No, you know what? I think we covered a fair amount of these games. I'm excited to recover them on Friday. So.
We just, and see exactly where they go and see if our opinion changed.
Yeah.
To me, this was the first look at a lot of these games. I didn't really get a chance to, dig into these games today. So this really was a first look, first opening line and opinion show for me. Most of you guys know I live, eat, and sleep college football and really sports in general. I've dedicated my life to this stuff. So, I just happen to know most of the stuff off just the top of my head. But I think, over the course of the week, I'll have more time to dig into these games. So Friday's show will have a little bit more information. But I agree with you. The Pac-12 just really not doing themselves any favors. And, we have seen the cream of the crop of the Pac-12 go into the big house and bust up Ohio State. And I think if that just sends the message that if Oregon can win out, which against a bad Pac-12, probably not out of the question, they go to the playoff, and it could be so. Sure. I mean, we're looking at two teams that from outside of the circle of trust or whatever you want to call it, that can already invade the playoff in Cincinnati and Oregon, that if those two teams win out, they're in. And, there's a lot of football to be played between now and then, but if they went out, they're in. And that would leave just 2 other spots remaining. Can Ohio State get back in? Can Clemson get back in?
Yeah.
Can, Alabama is Georgia in? If they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship, will there be room for them at that point?
Yeah,
If Ohio State has played their way back in, or can Penn State get in?
I hope so. I like Penn State.
Yeah. What if it is Penn State? It could be Penn State. Right now, you would say the teams that control their own destiny for the playoff are, I would say, Alabama, Penn State, Cincinnati, and Oregon. People want to know who my 4 playoff teams are? That's them, and that's subject to change. It's like they don't even come out with the pre-thing, to the polls now. But to me, those are the 4 leaders at this point. Are those 4 teams?
Oh, for sure. I like it, Mitch. Between now and Friday, I'm definitely going to be digging into the scheduling and look at who they're playing the following week as well before I give you my final bets on these games.
Yeah, I think, Jo, what she's probably learning over the past month is, doing all these shows with me. We cover a lot of ground, a lot of information, and probably, taking her game to a whole new level as well, which is, part of the reason we brought her here, because we knew that's what she wants to do. So it's like we're excited, to be part of it. And we're excited that all you guys took the time to tune in and watch what we're doing here and support us for what we do. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's have an awesome day. VIP members, we'll see you in about 45 minutes or so. Give me a chance to, gargle some salt water and have some green tea.
What a great combination, Mitch.
Whatever I got to do.
More.
I once heard Howard Stern speak. And he said that one of the things that he never does when he's not on the air is talk. And now I know why. Because, I talk. I'm on all these shows doing all these things. Like, my voice is just raspier and raspier every video. But, Jo, I remembered you said it's not good to bet minus 300s. Can you tell me why not? Because I'm new to this betting world.
Oh, for sure. So when you are betting something at minus 300, you're laying 300 to win 100. It's just not good for the odds. You lose a couple of those, it's not worth it. You're better off betting something that's closer to minus 110. Minus 140 is the highest I would ever go. You just don't get the payback, especially losing those big favorites.
Yeah, it's like losing two games at once.
Yeah.
But thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow for NFL. It's a little bit of a shorter, the show's about the same length, but it's a little bit more packed in because we only cover, 16 games as opposed to 70. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. See you guys in a little bit. And, of course, if not, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on our Pick Dogs YouTube channel.